All right, guys, I just want to let you know you are in the right place. We'll get started here in about 1 minute. Everyone who joins us for this morning's marketing training on high-hanging fruit lead generation tactics is going to get a free copy of the book High Hanging Fruit. So again, if you're just hopping on, we'll get started here in about 60 seconds. Everyone who is on this morning's training is going to get a free copy of the book High Hanging Fruit. Just want to let you guys know that you're in the right place. We'll get started in about 60 seconds. Stay tuned. Hey guys, again, we'll get started here in just a couple seconds. If you're logged on now, you are in the right place. Everyone who joins us on this morning's webinar, this morning's training, is going to get a free copy of the book High Hanging Fruit. So you are in the right place. Stay tuned. We'll get started here in about 30 seconds. So you are in the right place. Everyone who joins us will get a free copy of the book High Hanging Fruit. We'll get rolling here in just a few seconds. All right, so let's dive into this. My name is Tim Shermack. Without further ado, let's hop into this. I am the author of the book High Hanging Fruit, of which everyone is going to get a free copy this morning. So I'm the author of the book High Hanging Fruit, and I'm also the CEO of a company called Platform Marketing. What we're going to be doing on this morning's webinar is diving into the lead generation strategies that I teach in my book, High Hanging Fruit. So this was a book I wrote 2 years ago specifically for realtors. Once I kind of saw the tide shifting from a move, away from Google AdWords and IDX websites, more towards social media marketing and Facebook ads. And so the ideas I wrote about in this book have actually just become even more powerful since I wrote it 2 years ago, because more of the world has shifted away, from Google AdWords and these IDX websites towards a more social media environment online. So what we're going to be doing on today's webinar is I'm going to teach you the exact lead generation strategies that I introduce in the book. And we'll even be going into the very, very specific Facebook ads, the targeting, the headline, all that stuff. I'm going to give away the farm here. All right. I'm going to teach you the exact strategies that we use at Platform Marketing. And as a bonus, everyone who's on this morning's training will get a free copy of my book. And at the very end of the webinar, what we'll do is I'm actually going to give you a trial of Platform Marketing. Interested. So again, what we're going to be covering is all of the marketing and specifically lead generation strategies from the book High Hanging Fruit. I'm going to give you a free copy of that book. And then if you're interested, I'll offer a free trial of Platform to you. So without further ado, let's dive right into the substance here. Again, I'm Tim Shermack, and I'm going to hop into my screen share so you guys can see my PowerPoint slide. Let's dive right into the High Hanging Fruit marketing strategy. All right, so as we get going here, you can see that I have a text message here. This is a text we got from a client that had got a bunch of listings. They had some buyers, but the most important thing that you see at the end of this text message here, the most important thing is that he says, my pipeline is full. So my pipeline is full. That's really the essence of what high hanging fruit is all about. So let me just get straight to the point here. High hanging fruit is a contrarian marketing philosophy that tells us that we would rather build a future pipeline than get leads right now. Because if we have leads in a future pipeline who are ready to go, in 3 months, in 4 months, in 5 months, I would rather have those leads because those are more stable, consistent, reliable leads. And it gives you the peace of mind of never having to worry about where your next commission check, where your next closing is going to come from, right? Most agents spend their entire careers fighting against each other over what I call low-hanging fruit, right? So low-hanging fruit are, the leads that you buy from a company like Zillow or Realtor.com. It's people that had requested to view a home, and then so they signed up at Realtor.com, they signed up at Zillow, and then you got their information, and then you hopefully called them faster than any other agent called them who also got their phone number from Zillow or, from Realtor.com. But the same thing is true, honestly, if you're using like a Boomtown or Commissions Inc., that's really low-hanging fruit too, because if they're searching on your IDX website, typically they're ready to go sooner than later. The problem is that's where all the competition is. That's where all of the competition is. Almost all the realtors that are buying leads and spending their advertising budgets online are chasing what I call low-hanging fruit. It's the leads that are ready to start house hunting, this week, or they're ready to get pre-approved now. Or if it's a seller lead, they're ready to list their home, in the next week, right? It's leads that are ready to go now. So naturally, those are the leads that all agents want, right? And they're willing to fight each other over it. So that's where all the competition is, right? So high-hanging fruit is a completely different strategy. High-hanging fruit, we're gonna do the opposite of what other agents are doing. High-hanging fruit is specifically building marketing campaigns, specifically building lead generation campaigns, lead generation ads that attract people that are higher up in the sales cycle. So we're gonna intentionally structure our lead generation campaigns intentionally so that we're generating leads that are 3, 4, maybe even 5 months away from being ready to buy or sell. So it's January 12th today, Friday, January 12th. By the way, this is a live webinar. This is not a recording. I know that many of us have been on webinars or trainings where it was promoted as live, but it's actually a recording. This is a 100% live webinar. Let me give you some sort of proof of that. The New Orleans Saints are playing the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday at 4:40 p.m. Eastern time for the NFC playoffs. I'm a big Minnesota Vikings fan, so I'm really looking forward to that game. So there's proof that it is a live webinar. Recently, there was a national title game for college football, and Alabama beat Georgia. Came down to the wire. So there you go. It is a live webinar. This was not recorded months ago or anything like that. Totally live webinar. So that being said, it's January 12th right now, right? A high-hanging fruit lead, like if you do this correctly, if you follow the instructions that I'll teach you in this webinar, you'll be generating leads that probably won't be ready to actually buy or sell until, March, April, maybe even May, right? But the advantage that gives your business is that you always have a big future pipeline. And then in the meantime, often those future pipeline leads, what I call the high-hanging fruit, in the meantime, often they refer people to you, right? And so it puts your business in a much better, more stable position if you always have a big future pipeline, rather than spending all your time and energy chasing leads that are ready to go this month, because then that's a constant rat race. You're on this treadmill where your business exists month to month and you don't even know if you ever have enough money 2 or 3 months from now to run more ads, right? And so high-hanging fruit, this strategy I've personally used to double and even triple the GCI of realtors that I've worked with around the country. So this text message just sums it up. I mean, it's all great that they got these results, but the most important part is at the end where it says, my pipeline is full. That's what high-hanging fruit is about, is building a future pipeline of leads so that your business actually resembles a real business. It's not just a job. We actually build a true business. And so usually when I do like a consulting day with someone or I'm speaking at a seminar somewhere, I first start by introducing the idea that high-hanging fruit is not really like a tactic. It's also not even a marketing strategy. It's more of a marketing philosophy. It's a new way of thinking about marketing, right? So it's the exact opposite of what most agents have been taught their entire career. Most agents have been taught to, cold call expireds, cold call FSBOs, try to pick the low hanging fruit, right? Try to reach out to your sphere of influence and your family and your friends and ask them for referrals. And that's all great. The problem is that's not scalable, right? That's not scalable because sooner or later you run out of friends and family to ask for referrals. And so we have to actually build that generates leads for us that are future pipeline leads that are ready to go in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. That's what this is all about. If you set this up correctly, with the ads I'll show you in this webinar, by the way. So this isn't like a bait and switch thing where I'm telling you what you should be doing, but then I don't tell you how to do it. I'm going to show you the exact Facebook ads to set up, okay? If you do it correctly, you should be able to get leads for about $3 or $4 a piece. So what that means, just basic 4th grade math, right, is that if you set up these high-hanging fruit campaigns the right way, every $100 you spend on ads should bring in about 25 to 30 leads. So every $100 you spend on ads should bring in 25 to 30 leads. Once you realize that, you kind of get what I'm saying, that we have clients that have doubled their GCI, even tripled their GCI the first year that they implemented this high-hanging fruit idea. They've doubled and even tripled their GCI. And it's not that shocking once you realize that every $100 they spend on ads brings in 25, 30 leads. You could probably double your business too if every $100 you spent on advertising brought in 25 or 30 leads. So here's an example that just happened a month ago. This is a quick case study video that someone sent me. I mean, it's a 20-second video, okay, that someone sent me just a month ago. So this is not, you know, this video isn't a year old. It's not 6 months old. It's not outdated or anything like that. It was literally sent to me around Thanksgiving just a month ago. Check this out. This is what happens when you embrace high-hanging fruit.
Hi, this is Michelle Jones from Tennessee. I joined the platform webinar. I signed up, and my results for the first 10 days are that the 2 new listings ads that I ran with platform, I got both under contract in the same day. I also have 5 active buyers that I'm currently working with now, and I also have obtained 3 new listings.
Awesome. So, I mean, that much business has happened in her very first month taking action on this, because she hasn't been working on this for a year. Those results aren't the result of, you know, a year of slowly, patiently building up high-hanging fruit. Taking action on this because she watched a webinar back in October. Okay. So this is a result she's created in literally her first 30 days using this high-hanging fruit system. So I just want you guys to realize what's possible. So just really quickly, what we'll talk about here on today's webinar is we're going to further unpack what high-hanging fruit means. We're going to talk about the current state of the digital marketing industry, specifically as it relates to realtor leads. So we'll talk about why I think buying leads from Zillow, Realtor.com, or even getting leads from your own website, like a Sync website, Commissions Inc., Boomtown, Curator, Real Geeks, why all those websites, I think, they have an outdated business model. It may have worked a couple years ago, but it's not going to work in the future. And I'm going to tell you what you should be doing instead. Essentially, we're going to cut out the middleman so you don't have to use IDX websites like that, generate your own leads, and then for the same amount of money, you can generate many more leads. And so in doing all this, I will tell you these specific Facebook ads to run that allow you to bring in enough leads so you can double, potentially even triple your GCI. And so just so you guys know, when I say that this can double your GCI, that's not based off of like one client I've ever worked with who doubled their GCI. So I'm not like cherry picking an example that was an outlier where, you know, of the hundreds of clients I've worked with, there was once that someone doubled their GCI. This has happened over and over and over and over again. I don't know of any other marketing strategy out there where they can claim that it's consistently doubling someone's GCI. In some cases, it's even triple, but pretty consistently, it doubles people's GCI because they don't realize how many more leads they could be generating if they follow this system. So let's dive into this. The first video that I want to show you here that kind of illustrates this point, this is Jonathan Garrick, and he's a realtor in Florida, and he was making his business goals, right? His business planning goals. We're in the month of January now. This is what most people are thinking. They're making like their vision for 2018, you know, how many sides they want to close this year, what they want their sales volume to be. And, you know, he did what most realtors do, right? He read the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller. He read like The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. by Gary Keller. Like those are basically like the, the Bibles for real estate agents. Those are the books that it feels like every agent has read, right? And so he was getting excited about like making his goals and, his vision and planning for 2018. But what he realized was he was missing like the tactical step. Like he knew how much money he wanted to make, how many closings, but he didn't really have a tactical action plan for how he would generate the number of leads that would be necessary to hit those goals, right? Because if you made 100 grand this last year and your goal is to make 200 in GCI this year, like that's great. You want to double your business, but if you don't have a specific plan for how you're going to do that, then it's just wishful thinking, right? For Jonathan, when he read the book High Hanging Fruit, that was like the missing link. It was the missing link that allowed him to take his business goals and then actually generate enough leads to realistically hit those business goals. Because if you have lofty goals, that's awesome, but you need to figure out the specific way that you're going to bring in enough leads to where you can actually hit those goals. So High Hanging Fruit was really the missing link that took his business to the next level. So here's a quick 20-second video of him explaining how impactful this high hanging fruit strategy was to his business.
Everybody, it's Jonathan Garrick, real estate agent in Southwest Florida with Keller Williams Realty, and I'm here today to talk to you about the book High Hanging Fruit and the Platform System. And if you've ever read any of the books by Gary Keller, The One Thing or The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, they give you the real big picture thinking on how to come up with a business plan and to grow your real estate business. This is the rocket fuel to that system to actually how to market your business and yourself effectively. So definitely, if you're interested in this book, pick up a copy and also contact Platform. It was one of the best business decisions I've ever made.
Awesome. So again, if you're just hopping on, everyone is going to get a free copy of the book High Hanging Fruit as my way of just saying thank you for joining us on this morning's webinar. All right, everyone's going to get a free copy of the book. Here's one last video I'll show you as we dive in. I just want to show you because this is one of those outlier examples where he took so much action that he didn't just double his business. This realtor didn't even triple his business. He actually quadrupled his GCI once he followed the high hanging fruit system. So he quadrupled his business from 25 closings a year to over 100 closings a year, thanks to this high hanging fruit idea. This is Jose Medina. He's a realtor in Colorado. He's actually one of the very first clients I ever worked with. And working with him was one of the reasons that I realized I had kind of stumbled on a gold mine here with how we structure these lead generation campaigns, how we structure this high hanging fruit philosophy, is because I saw his business. He'd been pretty consistently doing about 25 deals a year, and it just quadrupled. So this is a quick 20-second video from Jose.
Hey guys, if you're still skeptical about high-hanging fruit, let's just break down the numbers real quick. In 2013, I did 25 deals. I then implemented high-hanging fruit platforms so that you know. In 2014, I went from 25 to 50 deals. In 2015, I went from 50 deals to 70 deals, baby. And now in 2016, I'm making over 100 transactions so that you know. And now that I have my team in place in 2016, just imagine what I'm going to do in 2017. Make it a phenomenal day.
Awesome. So he actually quadrupled his GCI. So I talk fast if you haven't already noticed this. So grab a pen and paper. I'm going to try to get through all this in 60 minutes. So please take notes, grab a pen and paper. I do talk fast. So very quickly about me, the first book I published was actually Main Street Marketing. This book wasn't written for realtors. It was written just generally for small business owners. So I wrote this book for brick and mortar local small business owners, whether it was a car dealership or a dentist or a restaurant or an insurance agent, coffee shop, whatever. But what happened was a lot of realtors read this book, and I started to get a lot of emails from real estate agents around the country who were taking action on like some of the ideas in the book and getting just amazing, like ridiculous results. They were growing their business exponentially. And so I started working with some of these real estate agents as kind of a consultant, and we doubled their business, even more. We had people, like I said, who doubled, tripled, even some that quadrupled their businesses. And I realized that, these ideas are great to generate leads and get paying customers for just any small business, but specifically they're great for realtors. And so eventually what happened is I actually wrote an entirely new book from scratch, High Hanging Fruit. This book is written specifically for real estate agents. So I took some of the original ideas from the book Main Street Marketing but I just wrote an entirely new book from scratch, this one for realtors. So this is a real book. It's not like a 40-page PDF or something. It's a legit 200-page book. Everyone on the webinar is going to get a copy of this for free. What happened is the business started taking off so much, all these realtors started hiring me, that I went from being a solo consultant, working with half a dozen agents who had hired me to manage their digital marketing, that the demand quickly got to the point where I was working 70, 80 hours a week because so many agents wanted to hire me, and it was all referrals. I wasn't even running any ads. It was referrals from agents that were getting so much, having so much success that they would refer their friend, across town or from across the state or across the country. And quickly I had to start actually hiring employees. And so now I actually built it into a company where realtors around the country just hire my company platform to manage all their marketing for them. So it basically accidentally grew up from me being a small business marketing consultant to actually specializing and working with realtors. We were getting them such amazing results that all by referral, we just started scaling up and had to hire employees. Now we're at the point where we basically have 20 full-time employees at a platform, and agents all across the country are hiring us to manage their digital marketing for them. So at the end of this webinar, I'll actually give you an opportunity. If you want to work with us, you can hire us for a trial month where we will set up everything for you. But we'll talk about more of that later if you're interested. So let's dive into how to create these Facebook campaigns, because in the meantime, I'm just going to show you how to do everything yourself. So first, if someone hires me for like a private consulting day, usually the first concept I talk about is where to invest your time and where to invest your money. So if you think of like the typical sales funnel, right? It's like that, it's that funnel, right? Where it's widest at the top and it gets more narrow as you get closer to the bottom. It's basically looks like an upside down triangle, right? And all the leads come in at the top. And then as they get closer, to making a decision, like, that funnel gets narrower and narrower. So just think of that sales funnel in your head, right? Most agents, if I ask them like the two most important variables in their business is where are you investing your time and where are you investing your money? Almost every time, what they say is they're investing their time at the top of the funnel to generate leads, and they're investing their money at the bottom of the funnel, with whatever advertising budget they have, right? Whether it's $1,000 a month or whether it's $200 a month. They're spending their money at the bottom of the funnel generating, low-hanging fruit leads. Basically, at the bottom of the funnel, all you can really do is buy leads, right? You're not really cultivating leads at the bottom of the funnel, because anyone who's at the bottom of the funnel, by definition, is ready to make a purchasing decision. Like they're ready to, buy a house, or they're ready to list their house, right? So if they're at the bottom of the funnel, by definition, then they are low-hanging fruit. And so if you're buying leads from a Zillow or from a realtor.com, like by definition, that's low-hanging fruit. And so what most agents are doing is they're investing all their time at the top of the funnel generating leads. They're making cold calls. They maybe have a subscription with RedX or, Vulcan, or they're, getting a fresh report every day of the most recent expired listings or the most recent FSBOs for sale by owners. And they're just, time blocking maybe 2 hours a day, and they're making outbound phone calls. Maybe they're calling their sphere, and they're just simply asking for referrals, right? From friends and family, past clients, things like that. And so again, the way that most agents generate leads is they invest their time at the top of the funnel. So the main ingredient or the main input cost to generating leads at the top of the funnel is just the cost of their time. They're making outbound phone calls. Maybe they're attending like networking meetings in town. They're a member of like a BNI group, and maybe they try to volunteer as much as they can with, their kids' sporting events or events at church, just to keep their name out in the community where people are thinking of them, right? So the way that most agents have been taught for the past few decades to generate leads is investing your time, right? The main input cost is your time. We'll touch on this a little bit later, but the main problem with that is that it works. The main problem with that is that investing your time works up until a certain point, but eventually you run out of time and you hit this plateau, you hit this barrier in your business where it worked, and you're making $100,000 a year, let's say in GCI, so you think it's working. But if you're already working 50 hours a week and you're making $100,000, you can't double your business, to 200,000 at GCI. You can't double your business by working 100 hours a week, right? That's impossible. So it works up to a certain point to invest your time to generate leads. But if putting in the hours, if time is the main input cost, that becomes the limiting factor, like the constraint on the growth of your business, is you literally run out of hours in the day. And so what I tell agents to do is to flip this. So we want to do the exact opposite of what most realtors are doing. So the first thing I teach in a high-hanging fruit training or a high-hanging fruit seminar is that we want to do the opposite of what most agents are doing. From now on, you're going to actually start investing your money at the top of the funnel, generating leads, so that you can invest your time at the bottom of the funnel, only following up with leads that were already warmed up by your marketing system. So again, let me repeat that. From now on, you're going to do the opposite of what most agents are doing. From now on, you're going to invest your money at the top of the funnel, building a marketing system, right? Generating leads, building a marketing system that generates leads for you, so that you only have to spend your time following up with warm leads, right? So this is a total game changer, because no longer will you have to, time block 2 hours a day to cold call leads. You can probably just follow up for half an hour a day and accomplish just as much, because if you're following up with warm leads who actually requested to hear from you, you can follow up with more people and actually get better results, higher conversion rates, set more appointments in just half an hour than you would in 2 hours of cold calling, because it's like qualitatively different. You're calling warm leads, people who actually, requested to hear from you, right? Versus just cold calling any expired listing or any FSBO, right? So the first step here is just acknowledging that most agents invest their time to generate leads, and they invest whatever money they have buying leads, buying low-hanging fruit leads. We're going to do the opposite. We're going to invest our time generating leads at the top of the funnel, so that we only have to invest our time following up with leads that our marketing system already warmed up for us. Okay, so this is a great concept. This high-hanging fruit philosophy, right? Especially if you're on a limited budget, because as I mentioned earlier, typically if you set this up right with the ads I'll show you here in a minute, the leads are going to come in for about $3 to $4 a piece, right? So just to be very clear, every $100 you spend on ads should bring in about 25 to 30 leads. Okay, you can see how this is a huge advantage. If every $100 you spend generates 25, 30 leads, that means to get 100 fresh leads every month, all you have to spend is like $300, $400, right? Any realtor can find a way to get $300 or $400 a month to generate leads if they know it's going to reliably bring in 100 fresh leads every month, right? That's a great ratio, right? Those are really good numbers to work with, really good numbers to build your business on, right? So it's really not that hard to conceptualize and visualize doubling your GCI once you accept that it is possible to generate like 100 leads for just a couple $100 every month, right? So this text message I want to show you because this is a client who texted me, a client who had hired Platform to like manage their marketing for them. And it's a realtor who's like, yeah, I got a couple pre-approvals, dude, this really does work. Yeah. But the reason I want to show you this specific text message is that this is a kid. He's 19. So he's literally a kid. He just graduated high school. So it's a 19-year-old kid. If a 19-year-old who's like fresh out of high school can get licensed as a realtor and use this high-hanging fruit system to generate leads and close business, you can too. His name's Keaton. He's a realtor in Wisconsin. So what I see usually that I mentioned with Jose earlier when I showed you that video is what most realtors do is they work really, really hard. They put in the hours, they hustle, they make follow-up phone calls. They're willing to sit office hours to maybe get some walk-ins, they're willing to put in the time, right? They're willing to put in the time. They're willing to hustle. They're willing to host open houses on the weekends and sit their own open houses. They get sign calls. They're always asking for referrals. They go above and beyond. They answer their phone on nights and weekends, right? They basically hustle. They put in the time. And the problem is that does work to get you to around 30 transactions a year. But most agents get addicted to that. And that's the exact thing that holds them back from scaling beyond that. And so, in the last couple of years at Platform, I've had the privilege of working with actually over hundreds of realtors now. And I've seen this phenomenon time and time again where agents get to a point where they're doing about 30 transactions a year. Sometimes it's 27, sometimes it's 34. It's not exactly 30 closings a year. Obviously, it could be 26, 27. It could be 30, 31, 32, whatever. But for whatever reason, right around 30 closings a year, what happens is they hit a plateau. In a literal sense, what is happening is they run out of time. Because most agents that are doing, let's say, 32 transactions a year, I don't even have to ask them. I already know that they're working 50 plus hours a week. It's kind of funny actually that in America, people still think of like 40 hours a week as a full work week. I don't know any successful people who only work 40 hours a week, right? And this is especially true for real estate agents. Most agents I know, their top producers are working 45, 50, 55, 60 hours a week, right? So what happens is if you're already closing, let's say 32 transactions a year, I know for a fact that you're not working, 30 or 40 hours a week. You're probably already working 50 hours a week. And so if you wanted to double your business from 30 transactions a year to 60, right? You don't just double the inputs and expect the outputs to double. Like you can't just start working 80 hours a week or 90 hours a week to double your business to 60 transactions. That's like impossible. It's not scalable. And it's not how you'd want to live your life either, even if it were possible, right? And so I see this over and over and over again, agents plateauing right around 30 transactions a year. And they don't realize what's happening. They just think that, the market's drying up or it's tightening up, and they don't realize why they're plateauing. But the reality is they're just running out of hours in the day, because what allowed them to build their business to that point was just straight up hard work and hustle. And that's all they know how to do. But that's the exact thing that's holding them back from getting to the next level. To break beyond that plateau of 30 closings a year, sales and hustle isn't enough. It's actually working against you. It's your biggest enemy, right? You don't need more hustle. You need to build a marketing system, like a lead generation system specifically. So this is the number one thing that you can do for your business in 2018, guys. I know we're early in the year. It's still January. So a lot of you are thinking about, how can I take my business to that next level in 2018? This is it. You need to build an actual lead generation system that brings in leads every day so that you can only spend your time following up with warm leads versus time blocking hours every day to make cold calls to strangers. So here's another quick 20-second video of someone who did this. They broke through that plateau and got to about 60 closings a year. This is Paul up in Maryland, and he credits this to this high-hanging fruit idea of building a marketing system so that he only had to spend his time following up with warm leads that were already warmed up thanks to his marketing system. So no more cold calls.
Hey guys, Paul Gillespie team at Keller Williams Gateway. Before I met Tim and implemented the platform marketing system, I was selling about 15 houses a year. I'm 3 years into it. The second year, I sold 25. This year, I'm going to sell 60. And then next year, our goal is to sell 100. So the platform system is a real deal. I could not have scaled my business so quickly without it. Thank you.
Awesome. So again, it's all about understanding that if time is the main input cost to your business, to growing your business, a limiting factor on growing your business, right? Like if time is the main way and hustle, just hard work, you're willing to put in the hours, right? If that's what's got you to this point, that's the exact thing that's going to hold you back because it's not a scalable strategy, right? So you can grow your business to about 30 closings a year if you're good at sales. That's true. And that's the exact problem is people get addicted to hard work, and hard work is the exact thing that's going to hold them back from taking their business to the next level. Beyond 30 closings a year, if you want to get to 50 or 100, it's not about sales. It's not about hustle at all, no matter what Gary Vee says. It's not. It's about marketing and lead generation, right? Specifically generating enough leads so that if you make follow-up phone calls for half hour a day, 45 minutes a day, whatever it ends up being, that you're not wasting that half hour every day cold calling strangers. You're calling warm leads who actually wanted to hear from you, right? So I see this all the time with agents, especially in the world of Keller Williams, or if you've ever taken like a Bold class, right? Bold is an awesome class, and it teaches you how to get over yourself and stop being afraid of reaching out to people and asking for business, asking for referrals, asking if someone knows anyone who wants to, buy or invest in real estate, right? But Bold doesn't really teach you the specific lead generation strategies, the marketing strategies to bring in warm leads. A lot of what's taught in the real estate industry is just reaching out to people, and it's a numbers game, right? Most agents are taught that, hey, if you make enough cold calls every day, eventually you'll set enough appointments. And that's true. The problem is it's actually true. If you get a dialer, right, you get Mojo set up or something. If you make enough calls every day, eventually you will set some appointments. It's just mathematics, right? It's the law of large numbers. If you make hundreds of calls, eventually you will set some appointments. The exact problem with that strategy is that it works, right? Is because you get addicted because you do start setting some appointments, but you quickly run out of time. Because if you're time blocking 2 hours a day to make outbound cold calls and you want to double your business, like what are you going to do? Start making 4 hours of outbound cold calls a day? No, you can't do that, right? You actually have to leave some time in your day to actually be a real estate agent, right? You can't just block off the entire morning, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. just making outbound cold calls, because you actually have to be a real estate agent. You have to leave the majority of your day, for going on showings with clients, for going on listing appointments, for negotiating offers, for attending closings and home inspections, and, being a real estate agent, right? And so it doesn't matter what classes you've gone through, but, whether it's Bold or something else, I just want to tell you that if time is how you're generating leads, like making cold calls to expired listings or FSBOs, that's not scalable. That'll work to make you about 100 grand. And if you're super happy making 100,000, that's awesome. Most agents don't even ever get to that point. And so if you're happy at that point, like right on, like that's cool, right? But to get beyond that point, if you want to build a business that maybe does 200,000 in GCI or 250 or 300 or 400, it's not about sales and hustle. It's about building a marketing system, right? An actual lead generation system. So let's talk about how to do that. I usually refer to the way current agents generate leads as the Google industrial complex, right? Because what most realtors don't realize is that pretty much every marketing system out there, every lead generation system, every website system out there, whether we're talking about Curator or Commissions Inc. or Boomtown, they're all basically just a middleman for Google Ads. And so if you're getting leads from Boomtown or Sync or Real Geeks or any of these websites, right, that use an IDX website to generate leads, and they're pretty much all the same. It's a middleman for Google Ads. You think you're getting the lead from Boomtown, but you never stop and ask yourself, where is Boomtown getting the lead? They're getting it from Google AdWords, pay-per-click ads on Google. So essentially the entire business model of the real estate marketing industry is they're just a middleman. They get the clicks from Google and then they sell those leads to you and they mark it up enough to where they're making a profit, right? There's nothing wrong with that, of course. I love capitalism. I think profit is great, but you just need to be aware that that's all that the industry is. It's essentially a middleman for Google Ads. And it worked really well for a couple of years, but ads, the clicks on Google have gotten much more expensive in the last couple of years, much more expensive. The clicks on Google are maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 times in some cases more expensive. In some cities, in some areas, even 10 times more expensive per click than it was 5 years ago. And so that was a great way of generating leads. People searching on Google, for best realtor in Madison, Wisconsin, or homes for sale in Madison, Wisconsin, or whatever, keywords and phrases that people are searching for. That was a great way of doing lead generation 5 years ago, but it's so much more expensive now because there's more realtors bidding on those keywords, right? So how I can explain this is just think back to junior high economics, right? Your very first basic lesson in supply and demand. If you look at the number of people searching online on Google to buy a home, they're searching on, using the keywords and key phrases that we would expect people to use when they're searching to buy a home online. Because pretty much everyone starts their house hunting search online, right? If you look at the number of people searching, it hasn't really changed in the last 5 years. And so 5 years ago, if you think back to 2013, 2014, the actual rate of home ownership in the United States really hasn't changed. So the same number of people per capita are buying houses today as they were back in 2013, right? So the number of people searching online for homes honestly really hasn't changed at all. So the supply has remained constant, right? But what's changed is the demand, right? What's changed is that there's way more realtors now that have realized that, all the world is moving online and they should be spending their dollars on digital marketing versus print marketing. Like there's way more realtors now that are finally waking up to the fact that, hey, I should probably not be spending, thousands or tens of thousands of dollars a year in newspaper ads or in direct mail or buying billboards or all the things that agents used to do, right? And they've shifted that money online. And so the demand side of it has gone way up. And what we learned in like junior high economics class is that when demand exceeds supply, the price goes up. So again, what's happened is the supply of home buyers has stayed the same, right? That's been a constant. The same number of people are buying homes today as there were about 5 years ago. What's changed is that there are exponentially more real estate agents bidding up those keywords. And so the cost per click is much higher now than it was 5 years ago. And when demand goes up and supply stays the same, the price goes up, right? And so that's why the cost per click and then therefore the cost per lead of all of these companies, whether it's Boomtown, Commissions Inc., or even like Realtor.com, Zillow, it's all gone way up. If you ask someone who has been using, the leads from Zillow, they've been buying Zillow leads for the last 5 years, like, pick a number like $1,000 a month, right? If you've been spending $1,000 a month consistently on Zillow for the last 5 years, ask them, how many leads were you getting 5 years ago for $1,000 a month compared to what you get today for that same $1,000 a month? They're getting way less leads today than they were 5 years ago because like the cost per click and therefore the cost per lead has gone up, right? All Zillow ever was a middleman for Google Ads. We think that Zillow is this massive company and all the people are going to Zillow. Like they're coming to Zillow from Google, right? So Zillow gets all of its traffic from Google. And so if Google becomes more expensive, of course, Zillow has to raise its prices because they're not going to take a hit. They're going to pass on that expense to you. And so if you get your leads from Google, here's the summary here. Here's the summary. If you get your leads from Google, it's way more expensive today than it was 5 years ago. And you might not realize it, but if you're getting your leads from Commissions Inc. or Boomtown or Realtor.com or Curator or Zillow, like Real Geeks, any of these websites, they're all more or less the same thing, right? Even if you're not directly getting your leads from Google, you're probably buying your leads from someone who's getting them from Google, right? And so that's an outdated system. It's way too expensive. The cost per lead is often $20 a lead, $30 a lead, $40 a lead. When the cost per lead is that high, it's very, very difficult to make the numbers work to grow your business where you're not losing money on your advertising. So, if every $100 you spend, you're getting 5 leads where you're used to a $20 cost per lead. And then all of a sudden I show you a way where you can start getting leads for $3 a piece, where instead of every $100 you spend, you bring in 4 leads, you might be getting 25 leads, right? You can see how this is an absolute game changer for your business. Okay. Let's talk about the specific ads that you should be setting up. All right. Let's talk about the specific Facebook ads. Well, actually, first, you should be advertising on Facebook. So let me talk about that for a second. Facebook is the wild, wild west of online advertising in 2018. For the last 5 years, the big player in town has been Google. Pretty much everyone has set up their marketing campaigns around Google. All the big marketing companies that you know of, the Commissions Inc. and, the Boomtowns and, of course, the big websites like Realtor.com and Zillow, they're all just middlemen for Google Ads, right? They built their entire business models around the assumption that it would always be through Google, right? But Google's time as like the big player has passed. It's just too expensive now. Like the cost per click doesn't make sense. It's too high. So Facebook is the wild, wild west now. Facebook is where Google was about 5 or 6 years ago in terms of how big the platform is and then how cheap the clicks are. So what you could get Google clicks for about 5, 6, 7 years ago, that's what you can get Facebook clicks for today. And so just right off the bat, because the cost per click is so much cheaper, Facebook is a better place to be advertising. So I've run over $1 million of Facebook ads for realtors, and all of that is through Facebook ads. Okay, I don't spend money on Google. I think it's a waste. All of that is through Facebook ads. So I really, truly believe that Facebook is where you should be spending your own money. My own company, Platform, we spend about $15,000 to $20,000 a month on Facebook ads. And so I put my money where my mouth is. Like, I trust Facebook, and you should too. So Facebook for the next couple of years is where you should be investing your money if you want to generate a lot of leads. And so what makes a Facebook ad work is you have to offer real value. So in that way, it's like categorically different than a Google ad. And so the way that pretty much everyone has generated leads for the last 5 years is you get an IDX website, right? Like Boomtown or Commissions Inc. or Curator, Real Geeks, Playster. I mean, there's all these websites that are essentially the same thing, right? It's just a website that allows you to search for listings because it's hooked up, via IDX. And so someone lands on your website, right? They start searching for a couple homes, and then a timer goes off invisibly in the background after 15 seconds, and boom, you get a pop-up, right? And it asks them to register to keep searching for homes. That's how most agents have been generating leads the last 5 years, is pop-ups on IDX websites that force people to register to continue searching for homes, right? Maybe it's not like a timer. I've seen it sometimes where they set it up where once someone has been searching maybe 3 or 4 homes, then the pop-up comes up right when they click on the 4th home. And it forces them to register if they want to keep, right? The problem with this is that it's not actually offering any value, right? If someone's looking for homes and all of a sudden you're basically saying, hey, give me all your information, that's not offering value. That's like saying, hey, like, I'm forcing you to give me all your contact info and I'm not really offering you anything in return. Because just allowing someone to search for homes on your IDX website isn't really an offer of value, because they could get that for free elsewhere. They could go on Zillow or they could go on Realtor.com, these other websites that you don't want them searching on, right? And they can get it for free there. So why the hell would they give you their name, their email, their phone number, all that stuff that typically is asked on these pop-ups to create an account, right? Why would they give you all of that contact information if they could get that for free elsewhere? That's not really a fair trade. That's not offering real value, right? So what we have to do is use some more imagination and creativity into what we're offering people in exchange for their contact information. So lead generation is as simple. Like, this is something you should write down if you're taking notes. Lead generation is as simple as offering something of value in exchange for someone's contact information. So lead generation is as simple as offering something of value in exchange for someone's contact information. Most agents don't really think about it that way. They just think of lead generation as me asking someone for their contact information, right? But it has to be a trade. It has to be a fair trade. So think back, if you ever, played dolls with your friends growing up, or Barbies, or if you were, a boy, maybe you traded baseball cards, right? And you would never trade like a rookie card of Babe Ruth for some no-name player that no one's ever heard of. That wouldn't be a fair trade. You would never accept that trade, right? But that's essentially what most realtors are doing every day when they have these IDX websites, right? And they like force people to register just to look at homes. Like, that's a very unsophisticated way of generating leads. Maybe it worked 4 or 5 years ago when the cost per click was so low that even though the conversion rate was low, it just didn't even matter, right? Because you were getting enough leads. But that doesn't work anymore today when the cost per clicks are so much higher. The average IDX website, just so you guys know, generates leads for like, I think it's 5% is the average. And so most websites have a bounce rate of 95%, which means that 95% of people who land on your website. So if you have 100 unique clicks to your website, 100 like unique visitors, 95% of those people will leave without ever giving you their contact information. And so you're just basically wasting 95% of the traffic to your website. Only 5% of people who visit these IDX websites. Again, it doesn't even matter what company, whether it's Boomtown, Commissions Inc., Playster, Real Geeks, all of them, they're more or less the same, right? It doesn't even matter. 95% of people who click will leave and they'll never come back. So you're only getting 5% of people to give you their contact information. And then here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Of that 5% who actually maybe gave you their name and email and phone number, as you guys know, it's basically an epidemic now in the real estate industry that half of those leads are fake contact information. It's fake phone numbers, fake leads, fake names, right? Because they don't even want you to follow up with them. So of the tiny amount of leads that you're actually getting, half of them are bullshit. Half of them are fake phone numbers and fake leads, right? And so it just creates unnecessary work for you, because you'd probably rather have never generated that lead in the first place. You didn't have to waste time calling a bunch of fake phone numbers, right? And so how we solve this is by actually offering value in our ads. Because if you look at like the way that most realtors are generating leads, by driving them to an IDX website and then forcing them to register, right? That's not really a fair trade. That's more of like a hostage situation. It's like, hey, you know, give me all your contact information or else, right? It's not a fair trade. It's more of a hostage situation. So it really shouldn't be that surprising. It really shouldn't surprise us that people give fake contact information. If you were in their shoes, you would probably do the same thing, right? And so if we want to start generating more leads, we have to have a more like intelligent, sophisticated way of getting these leads. Like, think about what can you offer that actually has value that would convince someone to give you their contact information as a fair exchange of value, right? And so think about this webinar you're on right now, right? Think about the webinar you're on right now. You're listening to me talk. The fact that you're on this webinar right now is proof that this principle is true, because you would not be on here if I didn't give you a free copy of the book High Hanging Fruit. By the way, if you just hopped on, everyone will get a free copy of the book, right? You wouldn't be on this training right now if we didn't offer a free copy of the book. You know, I know enough realtors. I've worked with hundreds of them now. That's what we do at Platform, right? I know that realtors are busy. Usually the scarcest resource you have, the thing you have the least of, is time, right? And so you're not just going to hop on an hour-long webinar, and you're not just going to invest, you know, an hour of your morning and get nothing in return, right? Like, you want a free copy of the book. I totally understand that. That's why we give away the book as a bonus to incentivize you to join us on this live webinar, right? Because it's not a recording, right? I didn't just record this once and then I keep playing replays over and over and over again like some companies do, right? Every time we do a webinar, it's live. So we have to incentivize you to actually show up. We do that by offering a free copy of the book. Here's some inside baseball. We spent about $1,000 promoting this webinar. We got about 250 people who signed up. And so our cost per lead on this webinar is 1,000 divided by 250. It's about $4 a lead, right? So that's what it cost us to run an ad to the entire country of real estate agents and get leads. It cost about $4 per lead. So your cost per lead is going to be way better than that as a local realtor if you're targeting ads specifically to your local town or your local neighborhood or whatever zip codes you're targeting, right? It's not as inefficient as what we have to do targeting the entire United States, targeting realtors. And so what you need to understand is that any lead generation ad actually has to offer something of value if it's going to work, right? You can't just ask people for their name, email, and phone number and expect them to give it to you and then not offer anything in return. So let's talk about some specific Facebook ads that have been proven to do this well. So the first one I want to tell you guys about is the Pool Homes Report. This is something that works to generate actually seller leads. So not just buyer leads, but seller leads and listing leads too. So what the Pool Homes Report is, it's a Facebook ad that we're offering a free report of all the homes actively for sale in your area that have a pool, right? What makes this ad work so well is that it doesn't look like a listing lead ad. You know, like a couple years ago, you know, there were those really popular ads where companies were saying, you know, click here to find out how much your home is worth. And then people would click and they would like create an auto report of how much their home might be worth. And it was basically a sneaky way for realtors to get people's names and emails and addresses, right? And those have kind of fallen out of style in the last year because like they don't work, right? The cost per lead's way too high. Usually the leads aren't actually serious. And so that was something that agents did a year ago to generate seller leads. Well, this strategy, I'm telling you, actually works to get warm seller leads right off of Facebook. So we launch a Facebook ad. Usually it's just like 3 or 4 photos. That's what the post is. 3 or 4 photos of homes for sale in the area that have a pool. And what the actual Facebook ad says, let's say you're in Tampa, Florida, right? Attention Tampa Bay. I've compiled a free report of all the homes currently for sale that have a pool. You can view the homes at www.tampapoolhomesreport.com, right? Or if you're in like Fort Worth, Texas, it could say, you know, attention Fort Worth. I've compiled a free report of all the homes for sale that have a pool in Fort Worth. You can view the homes here, www.fortworthpoolhomesreport.com, right? That's it. And then obviously when they click that, it brings them to a landing page where that's where we capture their contact information. And what the landing page says is, tell me where to send the report. And so by using that key phrase, tell me where to send the report, that's what's essentially guaranteeing they're going to give us an accurate, real name and email address. So basically, just in that one thing, we've completely solved the problem of getting fake leads, because it's just understood that, hey, I'm going to email you this report. I'm going to send you this report. You can't give me a fake name and a fake email or a fake phone number, right? You can't give me fake contact information or else you'll never get the report. And so you have to give me like at least your real email address, or else I won't know where to send your report, right? And so the reason I love this pool homes report, just in case you're wondering, we don't care, we're not trying to generate pool leads, right? There's nothing special about a buyer who wants a home with a pool, besides the fact that I know statistically there's like a 99% probability that they're a current homeowner. And so it's a move-up buyer. So someone buying a home with a pool, it's not that there's anything special about homes with pools. It's that statistically, I know that there's a very, very high probability that they're a homeowner, they're a move-up buyer. And so that lead for me looks like a buyer lead, but it's actually going to be a listing lead too, because they'll have to sell their existing home because they're moving up into a pool home, right? So that's the real reason we do it. It's kind of like a stealthy way to generate listing leads off of Facebook by proxy, right? And so how we target the Facebook ad is we target homeowners over the age of 30. Sometimes we might target people with a college degree over the age of 30. I've seen that work well too. So that's the pool homes report. That ad works really, really well. I just told you everything you need to know to create that ad. Typically it gets leads for about $3 to $4 a piece. If you're in a slightly more expensive market, like we had a client who ran this ad in Naples, Florida, where like the median home price is closer to like $400,000 or $500,000. Their leads were $4 a piece. But in most more affordable markets across the US, it's typically going to be closer to like $3 to $4 per lead. So that's an awesome way to generate high quality leads from Facebook that are actually often listing leads too. If you're in an area of the country that doesn't have a lot of pool homes, maybe you're somewhere in the Midwest, and you don't have a ton of pool homes, we substitute an acreage homes report. So it works the same way, but we're promoting a free report of homes with acreage, right? Again, it's not that we're trying to get buyers with land, right? I mean, like we don't care about that. It's that we know that anyone who's buying a home with acreage, so basically any home that has at least 1 acre of land, right? Statistically, that's not a first-time home buyer, right? Statistically, almost every time someone buying a house with at least 1 acre of land, they're an existing home buyer and they're moving up, they're upgrading to a home with some acreage. So you're not only going to get to represent them on the buy side of their move up, you're also going to list their home. So it's a listing for you too. So that's what we do in a market that maybe doesn't have a lot of pool homes, is we'll use like an acreage homes report. It's just a stealthy way of getting listing leads off of Facebook. And we target it the same way. We target homeowners over the age of 30, or we'll sometimes target people with a college degree over the age of 30. It just really depends what the analytics and the demographics look like for the area that we're setting up that ad in. So this is all the stuff that like platform does for realtors, is we set up these ads and the landing pages and the follow-up sequences for them. So one more ad that I'll share with you quick here. One more ad that I'll share with you is what I call the home buyer guide. This works in any market. I've never seen it not work. It's just a 1-page PDF that you create that lists off all the mortgage programs that would be available in your area, right? And so it's just a 1-page report where you basically create a bullet point list of all the various mortgage programs, mortgage discounts, down payment assistance programs, various grants, and just list it off and with bullet points on a 1-page PDF. It's not a 10-page report you have to type. It's just a 1-page PDF report of all the various mortgage programs that are out there that are available, right? The reason we do this is because this allows us to get high-hanging fruit leads, because anyone who signs up to download this free report, by definition of the fact that they were interested in learning about all the various mortgages available and home buyer discounts and the down payment assistance programs, they wouldn't download that report. They wouldn't give us all their contact information if obviously they weren't interested in buying a house in the very near future, because that would be an excruciatingly boring topic to read about for fun, right? Obviously, if they're at that point where they're actively researching mortgage programs and like specific mortgage opportunities, discounts, down payment assistance programs, if they're at that point in the sales cycle, they're planning to buy a house in probably the next 6 months, right? That's not something where they're researching for 2 years out in the future, right? And so what we do is we create a Facebook ad that just says, let's say you're in Madison, Wisconsin. Let's say you're in Madison and you would run an ad that says, attention, Madison, I've created a free report of all the home buyer discounts available for Madison home buyers. Read this free report before you contact a real estate agent. And it would be like www.madisonhomebuyerreport or madisonhomebuyerguide.com. So we add that sentence in there to kind of create a sense of urgency. Read this free report before you contact a real estate agent. Because what that kind of is telegraphing to people, like psychologically, is that, hey, you better not, meet an agent or talk to a lender before you read this information, because this is, stuff you need to know before you get to that point. And so it generates leads early in the sales cycle. And then all you do is you make a one-page PDF listing off all the various mortgage programs. So list off, even like federal programs, right? So list off like the FHA program or like the VA home loan program if someone's a veteran, right? Most states obviously have like state level down payment assistance grants. There's the Homes for Heroes program if you're affiliated with that. I know like Movement Mortgage now has like a Movement homebuyer discount where they'll grant you some money towards your down payment. I mean, there's tons of mortgage programs available in your area. Obviously, you being a licensed real estate agent, you probably don't even have to do any research to create this one-page report. You probably already know all of them off the top of your head, right? And so you just set up a landing page, and then when someone gives you their contact information, you email it to them. So this one typically generates leads, again, for about $3 to $4 a piece. So if you were to spend $100 on this ad, it should bring in about 25 to 30 leads. And so what these ads have in common, and I just gave you a couple of ads here, right? And like this webinar can't be 3 hours long because there's no way I could go through all of the ads that we run at Platform, but there's many, many more. So if you want to see a couple more specific examples of ads that are proven to generate leads on Facebook, just go to platformmarketingpdf.com. and you can download some more of those ad examples there. And by the way, if you're going right now, like if you're typing right now, if you're typing in platformmarketingpdf.com, I'm sure you guys are aware, this is an example of this strategy right here. The fact that I'm offering something to you that is worth you giving your name and email for it. You're willing to trade your contact information for this, right? The reason I actually have this slide in the webinar is to force you to acknowledge that fact. Because if you're on this webinar, by definition, I already have your name and email and your phone number, right? Because you had to enter that to even sign up for the free book and sign up for the webinar, right? And so I don't even need to capture your contact information again here because I already have it, right? I just add the slide in here to further prove the point that if you offer something of value in exchange for someone's contact information, they will willingly give you their contact information. The problem, please write this down if you're taking notes, is not that there's a lack of people out there willing to give their contact information. The problem is that so few marketers are willing to trade anything of value in exchange for the contact information. They're just entitled and they expect people to give up their contact information for nothing in return, right? So it's on us. Like we have to take the initiative and start coming up with better offers and better trades to trade people to get their contact information, right? So I'm going to finish this up and then I'm going to give you guys a free copy of the book High Hanging Fruit. All right. So the final reason here that I love this high hanging fruit strategy is that it allows you to build relationships, not just racing through leads, right? So if you've ever used like a Mojo dialer, or you had like the Red X, you were just cold calling, loads of FSBOs or expired listings, you're really just using a sales script and you're not even attempting to build a relationship. All you're trying to do is just set as many appointments as possible. Like you don't care if you piss some people off. You don't care if the people meeting you for appointment even want to meet with you, right? You're just trying to set as many appointments as possible. The cool thing with high hanging fruit is because the marketing system is generating leads for you, you only have to spend your time following up with warm leads who actually want to talk with you, right? So you only have to spend your time following up with warm leads. And so this allows you to actually build relationships with all your leads, which creates a higher return on investment on the back end, because now you're not just generating a bunch of leads or appointments, you're also going to get more referrals from these people. So here's an example from an agent in Denver. His name is Brandon, and using the specific strategies we talk about in this webinar, Brandon closes over 40 deals every single year just from platform leads. Over 40 transactions he can directly track back to platform leads every year. I mean, that's over 3 every month. And some months 4, right? So he's averaging an extra 3 closings every month thanks to this high-hanging fruit, thanks to this platform strategy.
2016, my team's going to do over 40 lead gen deals. It's not just all about the leads. We're walking up to a listing I have where the owner saw me in a retargeting campaign through a market update video, and now I've got a $450,000 listing. This whole high-hanging fruit marketing campaign strategy, it really works.
Again, so that's Brandon. That's his actual lawn sign in the yard. This is a real listing he got from the platform marketing system. I always like to play the video to that point because I just think it's funny that the dog barks right when he walks in. So that's his actual yard sign, right? Like, so this is someone who's doing over 40 transactions every single year just because he follows this system. And the reason he can do that is leverage, right? He's not trapped by just cold calling leads every day. When you have a marketing system, it's the ultimate leverage. You only spend your time following up with leads that were warmed up by your marketing system, right? So no longer do you have to spend 2 hours every day cold calling. You can spend as little as half hour every day calling leads, because if that half hour is a quality over quantity 30 minutes, right? If that half hour is spent actually calling warm leads who want to talk to you, it's people who clicked on your ads, they've already signed up to request information, and you're just calling to follow up with them because they requested information, you can accomplish more in a half hour than most agents could accomplish in an entire morning of cold calling people. And that's what we set up for agents at Platform. Platform hire, if an agent hires Platform, what we do for them is we build all their marketing campaigns, we build all their Facebook ads and their landing pages so that they're bringing in leads every month. I'm gonna, in just a second here, I'm gonna give you guys the free book that you signed up for. And so everyone is going to get a free copy of the book, High Hanging Fruit. And then what I'm gonna do is actually tell you a little bit more about the platform marketing system. And I'm gonna offer you actually a trial of that system. And so what you need to know now is that the final analogy of how I explain this to people is the analogy of fishing upstream, right? Fishing upstream. Let's imagine that you're fishing with some buddies and you're near a river, right? And you're all standing about 2 or 3 feet away from each other, right? You have your lines cast in, and because you're all standing so close, because you're just having a good time, right? You're like talking with each other. You know, you probably don't even care necessarily if you catch a bunch of fish because you're just fishing with friends. You're there to, you know, hang out with your friends. But no one's catching any fish. Or if you are catching fish, it's a zero-sum game, right? Because you're all so close to each other that any fish that you catch is now a fish that your friend can't catch. Like, for you to win, someone else has to lose, right? It's a zero-sum game because you're all competing over the same area of fish. What would happen if you walked 100 yards upstream and cast your line in there? You would catch all the fish before they ever got downstream to where everyone else was. So you're fishing upstream, right? If you would go up 100 yards, what we call high-hanging fruit, right? You would intercept all the fish before they ever got to where everyone else was fishing. So in the same way, in your real estate business, if you build out lead generation campaigns that attract people that are still 3 or 4 months out, maybe even 5 months away from actually being ready to buy or sell, you're going to intercept all the leads before they get to the point that they would start calling other agents. So by the time someone gets to the point psychologically that they're willing to like go on Zillow and they're willing to search for homes there and type in their information, and then boom, they get, you know, called by 20 agents who were buying those leads from Zillow, right? By the time they get to that point, if you do this right, they would have already been a lead in your database for 3 or 4 months, right? So you've been following up with them for 3 or 4 months. They're never going to go on Zillow. They're never going to go on Realtor.com and get contacted by other agents because you're already sending them, you know, private, you know, search reports. You've probably already met them in person. You've had a couple phone calls with them. So by setting up a high-hanging fruit marketing system, right, which is what Platform can do for you, you're fishing upstream. You're going to intercept all the leads in your market higher up in the sales cycle, like 3, 4, maybe even 5 months before they're actually ready to buy or sell. So you build a pipeline before they get to the point that they would normally start calling other real estate agents, right? So if you do it correctly, you can generate about 200 leads a month. That's the average that we see. Like, that's not like a best case scenario. The actual average real estate agent that follows this high hanging fruit philosophy, this is the average, right? The average gets about 200 leads a month if they decide to work with platforms. So in a second here, the very next slide is I'm going to show you a 10-second video of someone who hired platform. So this is not a 60-second video. It's a 10-second video clip of a realtor who hired platform and the results that we created for them. And then I'm going to give you a free copy of the book. All right. So I'm going to show you this 10-second video. The reason it's only a 10-second testimonial video clip is that he gets right to the point. He just says, hey, I hired platform, and already in the first week of 2018, I have more business on the books scheduled for 2018 than I closed in all of 2017. So this is just an awesome example of a very recent testimonial. I mean, it's still like the first week of January, right? This is a very recent testimonial video that was filmed just 1 week ago that proves this high-hanging fruit concept. I mean, we're still in January, and he's already scheduled more business to close this year from his high-hanging fruit leads than he closed in all of 2017. So I'll show you this quick 10-second video clip, and then I'm going to give you a free copy of the book. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the platform marketing system. And if you want to try us, I will offer you a trial month as another bonus just for joining us on the webinar. You can check out platform on a trial month. So here's this quick 10-second video, and then I'll share with you how to get a free copy of the book.
I have a pipeline in 2018 that is as large as everything that I closed in 2017. What else can you say?
So again, he has more business scheduled already for 2018 than he did in all of 2017 because he hired platform. So if you want to get a free copy of the book, guys, it's highhangingfruitbook.com. So just go to www.highhangingfruitbook.com. It's not highhangingfruit.com. It's www.highhangingfruitbook.com. All right. So you can get a free copy of the book. No strings attached. You don't have to pay us anything. There's no secret charges. It's just www.highhangingfruitbook.com. Thank you for joining us on the webinar today. So that's how you can get that free bonus, our way of saying thank you, High Hanging Fruit Book. Now, I want to share with you a little bit more about this platform system and actually offer you a trial month of the platform system. So Platform is the marketing company that I founded once I realized I was getting so busy that there were all these realtors that wanted to hire me, but I couldn't possibly work that many hours a week. So I started actually hiring employees and building a team to do this. So Platform is a digital marketing agency that just happens to specialize in working with realtors. So we're not like just a website company like, Boomtown or Commissions Inc. or some of these other companies that you've probably heard of, right? Curator, all those companies. We're not like that. We're actually a marketing agency specialized in working with realtors. And so we're going to offer you actually a trial month of the platform system. All you have to do is go to www.platformmarketmap.com and tell us where you live. That's it. Like, you don't need to schedule an awkward sales calls with us or anything. You don't need to, give us all of your contact information or fill out some big application or form. If you want to take advantage of a trial month where you're going to be hiring us to do all of the marketing for you, right? Just go to platformmarketmap.com. So let me show you this video of Danny. We added about $7 million of sales volume to Danny's business. So we basically added $200,000 in GCI to Danny's business. I'm going to show you this video, and then if you're interested in that trial month, check out platformmarketmap.com. So what we do is we manage all of her Facebook campaigns. We set up all of her landing page websites. We create all the email follow-up, the retargeting campaigns. We send out text messages to her leads. We even edit all of her videos. So as part of Platform, like, we edit all of your videos for you. It's basically like hiring a full-blown marketing department. So again, if you're interested in that trial, check out platformmarketmap.com. Just take 10 seconds. All you have to do is tell us where you live. That's it. We're not asking you to fill out a big form or anything. Just go to, take 10 seconds, platformmarketmap.com, and tell us where you live. And I'm going to show you this amazing, amazing case study video of Danny Springfield, where we added about $200K in GCI to her business. And the coolest part is she actually gets to spend more time now with her family than she did before her business grew that much. So her business grew but it's not like she's working more. She's actually spending more time with her family even after her GCI went up by that much. So check this out.
Hi, I'm Danny Springfield in San Antonio. My platform story starts, I've been in business and real estate for about 5 years. When I signed up, I was plateauing at about 13 to 15 million a year. I had another agent on board with me, but I knew that we could get a little bigger and do a little better. Most importantly, I wanted to do that in a scaled fashion. So signing up with Platform enabled me to build my business to about $20 million a year, but where I'm spending more time, I have 3 little kids, where I'm spending more time with them. My husband actually left his engineering job to join my team, and that has been such a godsend for our family. Our quality of life has increased dramatically, and we owe a lot of that to.
And so I don't know if you caught that, but Danny's business grew so much that her husband, who is an engineer, quit his job, quit his career as an engineer to join her real estate team. So that's how much her business grew, where it made financial sense for him to actually walk away from an engineering career to join her team. And now she gets to spend even more time with her family. Her family's a big baseball family, so she has an older son who plays like traveling baseball, and they're gone basically every weekend at like traveling baseball tournaments. And that's something that most realtors can't say that they get to do every weekend with their kids. So her business has grown, and she gets to spend more time with her family, which is super cool. So if you want to check out a trial month of the same marketing system that Danny uses, just go to platformmarketmap.com and you can sign up for a trial month there. By the way, we have no contracts whatsoever. We're totally month to month. So it's not like you have to sign up for, 6-month contract or anything. It's totally just 1 month at a time. So if you want to sign up for just a one-time trial month of Platform, it's platformmarketmap.com.
That's where I'm spending more time with them. My husband actually left his engineering job to join my team, and that has been such a godsend for our family. Our quality of life has increased dramatically, and we owe a lot of that to Platform. The biggest change has been the quality of leads, so you're not spending all your time chasing ones that aren't very good. And maybe even most importantly for me has been that Platform, it gets me in front of my sphere for referral business so easily with very little effort on my part. So I'm a happy client. I'm happy to answer any questions you have, and I'm really just thankful to be part of the Platform family. Thanks.
Awesome. So again, that's Danny Springfield. She's a Platform client. I know the question you're probably wondering is like, yeah, it sounds great, but how quickly does it actually start working, right? Because Tim, you were talking about high-hanging fruit, and I can't wait 3 or 4 or 5 months to get results. Well, the good news is you get results right away. Most people in their very first month will generate 200 leads. So it's not like it takes a couple months to ramp up, right? It works right away. So here's an example of someone who got a bunch of business, both listings and buyers, in her very first month. So if you're interested, platformmarketmap.com.
Hi, this is Michelle Jones from Tennessee. I joined the Platform webinar. I signed up, and my results for the first 10 days are that the 2 new listings ads that I ran with Platform, I got both under contract in the same day. I also have 5 active buyers that I'm currently working with now, and I also have obtained 3 new listings.
So she got 5 buyers from it and 3 listings, and this is in her very first month, okay? So hopefully that helps you answer the question, how quickly does Platform actually start working? So the thing that makes Platform unique is that we only work with 1 agent per city. So I showed you Danny, she's in San Antonio, right? So if you're in San Antonio watching this, like, unfortunately, we can't work with you, right? We only work with 1 agent per city. We're very, very exclusive. To my knowledge, we're actually the only real estate marketing company that has this policy. So it's not just 1 agent per zip code, okay? I'm talking 1 agent per city. So in the entire broad San Antonio area, even including like the suburbs, we only work with 1 person in that entire area. So Danny Springfield gets the entire San Antonio area. That's one reason that our Facebook ads work so well, so that all of our clients are actually averaging 200 leads a month, is that they're the only person in their market that are running these ads, right? It's not like there's 10 other agents that are running the same ads word for word, right? So we're the only company in the country that does this. If you've signed up with Curator or Boomtown or Commissions Inc., they might have dozens of other realtors in your same city, that are using the same website as you have. They're running the same ads as you have. And so obviously it doesn't work very well if you're just one of 20 people that are running the same marketing campaigns, right? We only work with one agent per city. So we're not some huge company where we have tens of thousands of clients around the country, but we're also not small. It's not like we're only working with 5 agents, right? We have about 100 real estate agents that we work with right now, okay? And so chances are your market is still available. But the reason we ask you to go to www.platformmarketmap.com is to just find out if your market is available. Because if it is, if we don't already have a realtor that we're working with in your market, if your market is available, you can check out Platform on a trial month. And so the cool thing is we don't ask you to set up like a sales call. You don't need to give us like a, you know, your phone number and fill out like a detailed application and all this stuff. All that we ask you to do is take 10 seconds. And all we're asking for is like, hey, tell us where you live. Like what city do you work in, right? Are you in Madison? Are you in Nashville? Are you in Boise, Idaho? Are you in Salt Lake City? Are you in Orlando, Florida, right? Like just tell us where you live. That's it. In the time I've been talking about it, you could have already done it. So it just takes 10 seconds. Go to platformmarketmap.com, tell us where you live, and then we can get you set up on a trial month of Platform.
Hey, it's Danny. I am a realtor in Texas. If you're watching this, it's probably because you're interested in the Platform trial month. I have to tell you, you would be crazy not to take them up on that. When I started with Platform about 18 months ago, I didn't get a trial or any kind of discount, but it has hands down been the best investment I ever made in my business. When I first started with them, I was doing about probably 100,000 in income, so about $4 million in GCI, or excuse me, in production. Now, today, after being there a little over a year and a half, I have doubled, almost quadrupled that, and we'll do about 275 in GCI this year. I've actually hired my first buyer's agent. I also have a part-time administrative person. So it's just been a really good decision, and able to try it out for a discounted price is awesome. And I wish I would have gotten to do that. But, you know, I still made an incredible return on that investment. So I definitely would highly recommend it.
And so Danny, when she signed up, you know, she didn't get any sort of trial month, you know, or discount, right? And she still has an amazing ROI. So I don't know if you caught that, but she said there that it's the best business decision she's ever made. As a realtor, it's the best business decision she's ever made is trying Platform, because now she's grown her business from about 100K to about 275,000 in GCI. So to find out if your market is available and we can get you set up on that trial month, just go to www.platformmarketmap.com. Again, I know that often you're wondering how quickly does it start working. Here's another example of someone in a totally different market. This is in Iowa, right, who got results their very first month. So I want you guys to realize that it doesn't just work in Florida, or it doesn't just work in Texas. It doesn't just work in big cities or small towns or suburbs. So this platform strategy, this high-hanging fruit strategy works in any area of the country because we specifically customize the Facebook ads to your market. So here's an example of someone who got results right away in Iowa. So again, www.platformmarketmap.com.
Guys, Jeff Downing here. I'm in Des Moines, Iowa. As you can see, the corn's growing right behind me, so I am definitely in Iowa. Just hit my 30-day anniversary with Platform, and I want to share with you some of my successes. First campaign, first night it's going, and wake up, my phone's got a full contact lead. Name, number, address, and then down at the bottom, the most beautiful thing in the world says, yeah, I'm looking to buy a house in the next 90 days. Able to get their home listed and get them upgraded in house. Both those houses went pending just last weekend, which is about 14,000 in GCI off my first day in my first month here in Platform. Also had a call, hey, love your video. We're looking to sell our house and upgrade. So just last night was on a listing appointment for $425,000. That's an at-bat I would not have had without Platform. I've also added literally hundreds of contacts into my drip campaigns and into my SOI.
So right here, he's about to tell you about how he loves working with David. David is actually an employee at Platform who's one of our account managers. Another thing that Platform does for you, in addition to setting up all your Facebook campaigns, all your retargeting campaigns, all the landing page websites, we edit all of your videos for you. So every time you film a listing video or a market update video, or maybe like a top 3 tips for homeowners or 5 marketing tips to sell your house, right? All the videos we ask you to film that we use in these retargeting campaigns for you, we will edit all of your videos for you. So we actually have people on staff that edit all of your videos. So when you hire Platform, you're not just hiring someone to set up some Facebook campaigns for you. Yeah, we do that, but we also do a lot of other things. We even edit all your videos for you. So it's like hiring a full-blown marketing department. So when he mentions David here, another thing that we do on top of all that is we actually have a one-on-one phone call with you every week, like a personal phone call with you. So it's not a group coaching call, you know, with you and 50 other agents, you know, it's a one-on-one private phone call with you every week where we go over how the ads are doing. We help coach you on how to follow up with leads, and we talk with you personally on the phone every week. I don't know if any other marketing company, you know, like again, whether it's Boomtown, Commissions Inc., Curator, I don't know of any other marketing company that does that. So a one-on-one personal phone call with you every week. So we're always on the same page. We can always coach you on how to cultivate and convert your leads.
So that's been really, really cool. Finally, I love talking to my account administrator once a week. David, if you're out there, man, you're the best. Love chatting with him every Monday. We can look at the effectiveness of the ads, my ad spend, and he's also helped me with scripts, when to call back, what to say, email returns. Just get rejuvenated to start the week after talking with David every Monday. So that's been my experience with Platform. If you want to know more, please look me up.
Awesome. So that's Jeff Downing. He's in Iowa. If you want more information, just take 10 seconds if you want to get set up on that trial month and hire Platform to do all of your marketing for you, just like Jeff did. Just take 10 seconds. Go to platformmarketmap.com. All right. This is another one of my favorite videos I'll show you. This is Justin Liller. Justin's in a really unique market where it's high-end luxury homes and often second homes. So people ask me all the time, hey, will Platform work in my market? Because they're nervous that, you know, they're in like a vacation home market, or they're in a market that's really expensive, or they're in a market that has a lot of condos, you know, or something like that. And their market's just a little bit like unique. It's a little bit different, right? So that's Justin's market. He sells everything from $200,000 single family homes up to $1 million lake homes. Platform has worked just as well for him to generate leads. In 2017, Justin had his best year ever. He actually, he more than doubled what he did the previous year, and he's won an award at his brokerage for the most sides in a year, and it was basically one of his first years selling full time. So if you're interested, again, in using the same marketing system that Justin does, go to platformmarketmap.com and you can get set up on that trial month. The cool thing that Justin says in this video is that it's the best business decision he's ever made. I take a lot of pride in that as the founder CEO of the company, in that our clients say that. Like, they're not just like, yeah, it's working all right, I guess. They actually say it's the best business decision they ever made is when they signed up for Platform.
Hey guys, I'm Justin Liller with Rayleigh Realty at Deep Creek Lake, and I want to share my experience so far since joining Platform. Back in January, I flew down and met with Tim, and he showed me kind of the basics of Platform, which I implemented right away and saw some pretty good success with. So at the end of May, I became a full Platform family member. So it's been a little more than 30 days, maybe 40 days since I joined Platform, and I've seen some really incredible success. I'm picking up between 4 and 6 full contact information leads per day off of the ads that I run on Facebook. I can directly relate 3 listings back to my Platform ads that I've been running. They range anywhere from $150,000 to $800,000. I have had 2 closings from that, $175,000 closing.
And so, by the way, he filmed this last year, I think in July. And so he's had a lot more closings since then, because this video is actually about 6 months old now. I should probably get him to film a new updated one, but he's more than doubled his business this year, actually even since then.
I can directly relate 3 listings back to my platform ads that I've been running. They range anywhere from $150,000 to $800,000. I have had 2 closings from that, $175,000 closing and another at $850,000. And then I have a property under contract with some folks that opted into one of my ads at $1,550,000. So, you know, it's an incredible, incredible value that they offer at Platform. The return on investment is going to be absolutely huge. And I could not recommend joining Platform anymore. Like it has been by far the best business decision that I would not recommend.
Hey, guys, I just want to let you know, I just got a text message from Mitch. And Mitch said that a lot of people have signed up for that trial month. So he will be emailing you to let you know if your market is available. And so it's not like an automated system we use. If you've signed up at platformmarketmap.com, Mitch will actually be personally reaching out to you and emailing you to let you know that we can get you set up on that trial month. So it's not going to happen like instantly. So it actually is a human system we use where Mitch will personally reach out to you guys. So I just want to let you know to watch your email inbox if you've signed up there, because Mitch will be personally sending you a message probably in the next like 15 to 20 minutes to let you know that your market is available.
Joining Platform anymore. Like it has been by far the best business decision that I have ever made. So I've been implementing the Platform strategy since January, but only been a full Platform member since the end of May. And as of last Friday, I had 2 closings last Friday. As of last Friday, for 2017, I've already exceeded my GCI that I had in 2016. So I have no doubt that this is going to become my best year ever. And I think that, you know, if you follow the strategies that they talk about, it could be anybody's best year ever. You've got to film the videos, you've got to do the follow-up, and the buyers and listings will come. You know, it's been incredible. Over the holiday weekend, I had 5 people walk up to me and say, "Hey, you're that guy from the Facebook ads, the videos. I watch all your home tours. I love it." And, you know, it's that kind of stuff that maybe doesn't show up in your GCI right away, but over time it will, because people are going to, you know, when they're ready to buy, they're only going to think of you because you've built that trust and you've given them something to watch while they're bored at work or sitting at home, and they absolutely love it. So anyway, I can't thank Platform enough. I couldn't be happier. And if you're on the fence about this, just do it. You're not going to regret it. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. So I love how we ended that. You know, if you're on the fence, if you're thinking about that, you know, trial month, like, just do it. You're not going to regret it. So platformmarketmap.com. I'm going to skip ahead, guys, and show you a video. Well, here's another one where someone who did over 40K in GCI in 1 month. Like, notice as I'm skipping through all these case study videos, like there's so many of them in different markets. This is someone in Hawaii here. This is someone in Louisiana. This guy's in College Station, Texas. This guy right here, this is Rodney. He's in Wichita, Kansas. And so this person's in Pensacola, Florida. This is Amy Signor. There's so many case studies from all around the country. The system just works, right? But I want to show you this video because this is Brandon. He's in Denver. And this is Brandon showing you an actual tour of his office where he'll show you the whiteboard where he tracks his pipeline of leads and his closings. And he shows you the whiteboard just to prove how much business is coming in thanks to Platform. So he'll actually give you kind of like a behind the scenes tour of his office, and the whiteboard doesn't lie. So again, I don't have it on the screen right now. So just as you watch this video, just remember that the website, if you want to get set up on that trial month, is www.platformmarketmap.com.
Introduced the whole online lead platform system, I was skeptical. Now, a year later, we're closing 40 deals in 2016. This is all due to the online marketing platform. For example, we have our buyers meet us in this building, which gives us instant credibility. Because when you meet somebody on the internet, you never know if they're real or not. So when you come to a building like this, people come in here, they want to work with you, They realize you're real, and then you sign them up as a client. Come with me to the office. For example, we are closing 11 deals in June alone, totally over.
So again, here's where he actually shows you his whiteboard of all the business he has scheduled coming up. Like this is his pipeline. This is thanks to the platform lead generation system that we are managing for him.
11 deals in June alone, totaling over $4.5 million. That is an incredible number. About half of that came directly from the platform system. Now over here is the stuff you can't fake. This is our pipeline. This is ready buyers who've been pre-approved. They want to go searching, they want to go shopping, and they want to buy a home. 50% of these guys are all coming from our platform system, and it's proven the high-hanging fruit mentality, the system, the platform leads, it really does work, and it's real.
It really does work, and it's real. There you go. Platformmarketmap.com. Guys, I have one more video I want to show you. It's actually like a mini documentary that we filmed of a client up in central like Minnesota. It's a small like farm town, actually, really up in central Minnesota. And the reason I want to show you this is her results were so amazing that we actually hired a film crew to basically produce a documentary about her story, like her before and after platform story. She was broke when she first hired platform. The very first Facebook marketing campaign, the very first listing that we promoted where we ran an ad for her was actually her own house because she couldn't afford to live there anymore because the bank was about to take her house. And so her real estate business has slowed down so much that she was like about to become homeless because, she had no money, right? Like she couldn't afford to make her mortgage payments anymore. And so the first house that we helped her sell with a Facebook ad was actually her own house because she couldn't afford to live there anymore. So I know this sounds really cliched, maybe like over dramatic, but this is a totally true story. It's so true that I hired a film crew to fly there and basically get her to say all this on video, because if I just told you this and I didn't have video to show everything, you probably wouldn't believe me. It's such like an crazy before and after kind of rags to riches story. So now her business has grown so much after she hired Platform that she's bought a brand new Jeep, and she actually bought a brand new lake home, like a $500,000 house on a lake in her area. That's how much her business has grown. So it seriously is like a classic American rags to riches story. She's now the top agent at her brokerage for her the top agent for her entire brokerage in the state of Minnesota. So her name is Debbie. This is her platform story. And so if you want to use the same marketing system that Debbie uses, just go to platformmarketmap.com and you can check us out on a trial month. We have no contracts whatsoever, none at all. So it's literally just a one-time trial month. If you like it, you can keep using it. If not, you don't have to, right? That's how confident we are that our marketing system works, is that we are totally month to month, no contracts whatsoever. And then on top of that, we're going to give you a trial month, right? So if you want to use the same marketing system that Debbie has used to grow her business, go to platformmarketmap.com. All right, check out this story. This is one of the most crazy stories you'll ever hear from a real estate agent.
Okay, so I love this car. I've always wanted a Jeep Rubicon, always. Never thought I'd be able to get one, especially that I could just write out a check for, actually. But I was in Platform for about 6 months when my other car actually blew up, and I just kind of thought, what am I doing? I can afford what I want. So drove onto the lot with that wreck and drove off with this Rubicon with only 6 miles on it, which was a fantastic day.
And so I want you to meet Debbie Kaler. The platform strategy literally rescued her career. After the housing market crashed, she was struggling to make a living. Now she's driving a brand new car, bought a new lake home, and business is better than ever. Her story is just incredible. So we'll let her share the details. This is the power of the platform strategy.
Hi, I'm Debbie Kaler. I'm a realtor in a very small town in west central Minnesota. Population just a little over 2,000. So it's a tough market. We have a lot of agents around here. In fact, I would say we are saturated because everybody, for some reason, thinks that real estate is the fast, easy money, easiest thing you can get into. So I got into real estate in 1990 and always did pretty well, probably in the top 10, 15. And then the market crashed. And being a single person, that was tough. I ended up losing my house, my car, pawned all my jewelry. I literally had nothing left other than the clothes on my back.
So, as I said, Debbie's story is one of the coolest platform stories I've ever heard. After 20 years in the business, things were so slow, she was about to quit real estate entirely and find a new career. She was applying for jobs around the country, just trying to find something to pay the bills. And then she discovered Platform.
So thinking this is it, I have to get out of real estate permanently, even though I loved it. They found out my story and they said, you know, we have this young guy that does marketing for us, you should give him a try. So I was desperate and I decided, all right, I'm going to meet him. It turns out his name is Tim Schermack. And he came over and talked to me and started telling me about Platform, and I thought, this is entirely too good to be true. There's no way anything is that good that's going to take me from about being homeless, literally homeless, to actually being able to stay in this business and make it. But humor me, I'll listen to him. So I meet him. He gave me the good sales pitch. Out of frustration, I hired him. And only because that day in the mail, the very last check had come from my retirement account. Very last check. And I knew it wasn't going to carry me through anyway, so what's the big deal? I might as well gamble. I threw it at him and said, all right, big talker, you think you can do this? Do it. But it was 3 weeks later, leads started to come in like crazy, and they started rolling in. I'm not kidding. And pretty soon I didn't have time for that other job I took. I was back into real estate. And here we are 2.5 years later. And I went from number 47 in my association up to number 2.
So Debbie went from having no money, literally losing her home, to being the number 2 agent in her entire association. I love this story. It's such an authentic example of the power of Platform. The entire community noticed how quickly Debbie built her brand. Remember, building your business is as simple as building a list of people who trust you. Not just a database, but a list of people who trust you.
So one of the fun things with Platform was I had so many friends say, you know, when the market crashed, we thought you were done. That was it. We thought your business was going under, that you were done, no more Debbie. And it's like you came back with a vengeance. All of a sudden we see videos all over the place and your signs are going up all over the place. And now you're really showing other people how it's done. I actually had a couple of my competing agencies come and try to recruit me with their company, to which it's like, no, I turned them down. I mean, they're like, don't you want to work for, and then they'd say their name because they're bigger names in the area. I don't have a big name. You know, Lakes Area Realty, Debbie Kaler Real Estate, you know, I don't have the big banners, the big balloons, anything like that. And it's like, you know what? I don't need you. I'm doing fine on my own. They didn't like that very well, but I've pretty much buried most of them, which is a great feeling.
And so I'll say right now that last year in 2017, Debbie closed almost 70 transactions, and her entire county has less than 30,000 people. So she's in a rural area in Minnesota, and in a like, not just her town, her entire county only has 30,000 people. She still did almost 70 transactions. So that's how much her business has grown since she hired Platform to kind of handle all of her marketing and handle her lead generation for her.
That's all because of Platform. I went from, like I said, bottom of the barrel, thinking that I was going under, to a place I never thought I would be. And it's because of the marketing. And that happened rather quickly, actually. I would say within 3 months, people started to make comments about, wow, you came back strong. And by 6 months, it was, wow.
Amazing. So let's take a behind the scenes look at Debbie's office and get a feel for what her daily routine looks like when the leads are flowing in.
So I just want to give you a behind the scenes look at what Platform has done for me just in this last week. I've gotten 3 pages of leads. The ones that are crossed off are the ones that I've actually come in contact with, I've had phone conversations with, or even met them for coffee. I've got 2 listing appointments out of it so far, and for sure 1 buyer, probably 2, maybe even 3. So it's been great that way. It keeps me busy. It keeps me in contact with people. But I really want to show you personally what it's done for me. So my dream car was always a Jeep Rubicon. And after working with Platform for, I don't know, about 6 months, I was finally able to get one. Brand new, right off the lot. And it only had 6 miles on it. So it was glorious. Working with Platform and really working the program, if you work it, it works. So if you've been in it and say that it doesn't work, it's only because you're not doing anything with it. I have proof, because what I'm going to show you is the property I was able to buy, and it may not be huge, but it is on a premier lake. It's on Green Lake, which used to be the 2nd purest lake in the world. It's completely renovated. I can't wait to show it to you. So, you know, we're going to go there right now and take a look.
You know, I'm reminded of that classic quote from Zig Ziglar. You can have whatever you want in life if you'll just help other people get what they want. This is the very essence of the Platform strategy. Just serve people. Before you ever ask for anything, provide value. Be the most helpful real estate agent in your market. As you'll see, it worked for Debbie, and it can work for you too.
I paid plenty for it just because it is where it is. But it is a Frank Lloyd Wright house, which does mean something. So I wanted to keep his design. And that's another reason I renovated what was there instead of tearing it down. It is a $500,000 house in a community where everything, the average price is $150,000. So it's an accomplishment. I never thought I would be able to do that. So we're almost at my.
So here's where she actually shows you her lake home and all the renovations she's done.
Not only was I able to buy this new car, but Platform also allowed me to buy my new lake home. So this is the lake home that I bought, and I was able to renovate the whole thing. What we're standing in was actually just a skirting porch. Going into the kitchen, I was able to put in all new countertops, new flooring, all new appliances, took out some walls, added some windows, opened up the living room. This was a couple tiny rooms before, but what I love about this place is this epic view of Green Lake, and thanks to Platform, I get to enjoy it every day.
So again, if you're interested in having us set up and manage all of your marketing campaigns for you so you don't have to learn how to do any of the Facebook stuff or any of the landing pages, if you want to hire us just to take care of all that for you, just like Debbie did, go to www.platformmarketmap.com. It literally only takes 10 seconds. All you have to do is tell us where you live, right? That's it. It's not some big form or application, and you don't even have to schedule, a sales call, right? Just go to platformmarketmap.com, and we can get you set up on a trial month of Platform. So, guys, I want to thank you for joining us on the webinar this morning. I know that time is your most valuable resource, and so I'll wrap this up. So, thank you for joining us. And again, if you're interested in that trial month of Platform, go to www.platformmarketmap.com. Thanks, guys.